mentors as a writer was my boss, David E. Davis Jr., who was a famous automotive journalist and editor. He ran Car and Driver in the 60s when it was big and founded Automobile Magazine with Rupert Murdoch. I worked for him at a digital magazine that started the beginning of digital disruption of media, early 2000s, and called Winding Road. And the reason I still consider him a mentor, besides his incredible skill and personality that really came through in a narrative journalistic style that he brought to car magazines that had been kind of spec heavy and technical before, and he made it more of an experience and a story. I love that style, but I also love that he had to go out in the world and make a living running a business, so there's a practical side to everything that he does. I remember that he used to refuse to use the subjunctive and wouldn't hire me as a copy editor unless I was okay with that, and wanted to know what I thought about that, and because he thought it sounded pretentious and stuck up, so he just wouldn't use the "I would have if I could have but I didn't" kind of a case for verbs. It's sort of like a conditional, but I use the subjunctive and everything, but I have that same history that he had and his mentor had, Elmore Leonard, where they started out in Chevy advertising, and I started out in a PR company that worked for GM and Toyota, Delphi, Red Bull, Procter & Gamble, things like that, very corporate, and then worked my way into media. But it was, from our own blood, sweat, and tears, and in my case, at a time when media was crashing. So I remember them when I have to make practical choices, and when I learn craft from literary people like I do up at Bear River, where I'm going right now. It's a little bit of a challenge for me because they're also correct in everything they teach me craft-wise, style-wise, but it's a lot more of a privileged, quiet, academic kind of a world, and I can't make money publishing like that unless I'm I don't think you can anyway usually, but unless I'm teaching like they are. So I tend to go up to Bear River, learn the best craft I can, and then forget everything that kind of irked me a little bit that wasn't practical. Like, some people still don't even believe that publishing an ebook is really being a published author. That's how backwards it can be sometimes. But normally it's just this really, really highbrow taste that's very intellectual, which I love. It just doesn't translate all the time to what I'm doing. So that's my back and forth, and I'm always thinking of David E. when I'm up here, because we just kind of took the industry route, and everything I learn I have to kind of translate before I apply it. So it does challenge me a little bit, but it's also good for me because I'm a business owner and I have to make it work. So you can learn all the craft you want to, but idealism, it doesn't make money. And there has to be a way to balance it out, so it's not just junk that you're publishing in order to keep up and make money. So I don't think it's a black or white sellout hack kind of a situation. I think it's a spectrum, and everybody has different reasons for different choices. And a long time ago, I noticed that every single person I looked up to or who had mentored me had some kind of an in that they took advantage of in what was popular at their time. So it's only in hindsight that it looks like their own genius prevailed over circumstance. It's usually that they aligned themselves with some sort of opportunity and just slightly molded the restrictions on what they could do creatively. And you can view that as an unfair restriction or unethical, or you could just view it as one of the constraints that shapes your creative product. That's how I try to look at it, because that's really the only way I can keep doing this. And I think what I'm seeing historically is that that's usually the case. It